passing. Do you see that as especially strong here for the quarterback in the Pac-12?
Yeah, I do, and I just think that the offenses are opened up more. There's more plays, there's more opportunities, there's more opportunity. You know, if you're throwing the ball, if you're running the ball, if you're getting a team that has the ball 80 to 85 plays a game, that's almost 20 more plays than teams used to get. So now you throw in 10 more passes into that, and you get two or three more 20-yard plus passes. Your numbers are right there, just sheer numbers. You know, just sheer ability to run more plays, I think, is going to change that. So there's going to be a lot of records breaking throughout the next few years, I imagine, until it settles down, then it kind of even off because everybody's doing that at the same rate at that time.
You saw a tweet where you apparently compared Cepho in some way to Andrew Luck on the conference call.
Yeah, the guy asked me, was Cepho a dual threat, or was he a Mannion where he sat in the pocket, or was he a dual threat? You know, like a dual threat quarterback like Mariota. I said, no, he's not this guy. But I'm going to try to explain to you, when you hear everybody talk about all those guys out there, he's a guy that he can throw it in the pocket, but he can also run. A lot of people think Andrew Luck can't run. Andrew Luck can run, but he's not thought of as a dual threat quarterback. So that's all I said. I was trying to compare him in the ability that he could run, he could escape the pocket, he could sit in the pocket. So he's not a dual threat, and he's not a pocket passer. So I was just trying to use that as an example of a modern guy that he would be similar to, because everybody thinks of a Kaepernick, or they think of a Drew Bledsoe that sits in the pocket. So he's in between, and the only guy I can think of that really does that a lot, that when you go watch him go, wow, he can run, he can sit in the pocket, would be Andrew Luck.
How do you feel Connor's handled the change?
I think Connor's handled it well, in the game of football, I talk to him all the time. Everybody has roles, and your role will change at the drop of a hat. An injury situation, somebody not playing good, okay, opportunities depending on what the other offense and defenses do. So all of our players have to play that role. The hard thing about the quarterback position is usually only one guy plays most of the time compared to other positions usually, and then it's a position that's definitely, quote, in the limelight, so it's focused on. But I think he's handled it real well.
Talk about the limelight a little bit. I mean, you want a quarterback that's a leader and takes responsibility and write down the checklist. Can a coach do anything to lessen the weight on the shoulders of a quarterback, or is that impossible by the nature of the job?
Well, I think that you as a coach, you don't go in and put, you got to do this, this, or this, or we don't win. You got to do this, this, and this, or we're going to lose. No, you don't do that. You show them what to do. You encourage them. You motivate them. You keep them going. Every once in a while, you might have to light a fire under them. But I don't think you treat it any different than another position, except in the fact that you know he's got more pressure on him probably than another position. So you have to understand that and work with him on that. So you do in a way, but you don't go in and just lay it out. You got to do this, or we don't win. You can't, because then you don't want anybody to play uptight, especially at the quarterback position. You got to let them play, and so you teach them what to do and how to take care of the football, and then you let them play. And they'll make plays for you, and they'll make plays for themselves, and they'll make some mistakes, but they got to be able to bounce back.
Any themes you're seeing in the last 2 games defensively that's hurting you, or just playing against some really good quarterbacks?
Well, I think, in the Oregon State game, we were right there. Honestly, should have had 3 picks, really 4. And their guy made the play. So that was kind of, the second game we just off a little bit. The third game, we just didn't play as well. We just didn't play as well. So we've got to play better. We got to play more active. Of course, they had a lot to do with that, I would say. And we've got to keep improving and keep finding ways. And I think the kids learned a lot in that game situation, and we learned a lot of what we maybe can do and can't do in certain situations against certain things. So that helps us reevaluate ourselves a little bit defensively to help us get in the right spots.
Are you looking at any lineup changes in there?
We're always, if you don't play, they're always in. But we haven't made any abrupt changes right now. No.
It seems like this team has a proficiency for getting to the quarterback. Is that something that you're going to stress?
Yeah, they do. They got a good job. They got a really good pass rusher. Number 2, the redshirt senior. It's like 6'4", about 255. And he can rush the passer. He does a great job of that. And they do a few other things, but he's the guy that wreaks a little bit of havoc.
Are you having to prepare your offensive line maybe a little bit extra than that?
Well, we play really good pass rushers in our league too that we've gone against, and so I think that we know where number 2 is. We know how different moves that he does in pass rushing, and our kids will work on that for sure. So each week we kind of look at what the guys do and like to do, and where they line up, and who they're going to line up on, and talk to them about that. Yes.
Like you have a lot of guys on this team that over the last couple of years have been through a lot of games at the last few weeks. And then a lot was made last year of the team quitting. How do you try to prevent that from happening this year and keep the guys' spirits up throughout the whole year?
Right. I hope they don't quit. I don't see that in them at all. I see us needing to play better and needing to do some things better and coach them a little bit better, of course. But I don't see them quitting. I think that hopefully they won't. I haven't seen any of that in them at all. I haven't seen any lackadaisicalness in practice or intentiveness, that type of thing. Because really, you don't quit on game day, you quit during the week. And that if you're preparing and you're trying and you're pushing, then you've invested so much, it's hard to quit, if that makes sense. But to me, right now, they're investing and they're meeting, they're working, and going after, and they're asking questions, they're coming by extra, and they're asking on practice. So as long as they keep doing all that, I'll have great hope. If that stops, then I won't have great hope. I'll have to find a way. But right now, I don't see that happening.
You seem to have pretty good leaders on this team, though, from that senior group.
Yeah.
Is that going to help?
Yeah, it definitely helps, because when they see guys down or not doing not focusing or not paying attention in meetings or that type of thing, when they say something to them, we say something to them if somebody's not paying attention, which doesn't happen very often, but the kids sometimes know better. Or they'll hear certain things said in the locker room, like, whatever, and they'll tell them to get their act in line and keep going. So I do respect our leadership here. And these young men have been through a lot and probably have grown a tremendous amount through adversity. And so I think they'll keep fighting. I really do.
You have this string of lopsided losses in the Pac-12 over the last season and a half.
Yeah.
And you're recruiting, obviously, against all these teams.
Yeah.
How do you combat the perception of those losses out on the recruiting trail?
Number one, we talk about it. We're going to keep working to get better. We need them. We need these young men to come here to help us get better. And so that's all I talk about. I don't dwell on the negatives or anything like that. And just tell them that they can be a part of something that's going to be special, and it will be. The only thing I have to go on, and sometimes I'm, how do you know that, Coach? I said, well, there were 120 out of 120 went to the place I went to before. I mean, I have 21 in the country, so we know what we're doing. And it didn't happen overnight there either. I was on the end of a few lopsided ones there for sure. And so it's just the process. And I see the process going forward. I really do. Of course, we want more results on the field, and they'll happen this year before the year's over. They will. And so we just got to keep going.
You and your coaching staff's very positive and teach and take that positive attitude. Do you think that plays a part in keeping the kids up and not quitting?
I hope so. I think it does. I know that when I go home at night, my wife's really nice to me. If I went home and she yelled at me every night, I wouldn't want to go home and go back home, right? So I think it's the same thing going to practice. I really do. I mean, if you come to practice and you're thinking, oh gosh, here we go again. Now they want to get coached. It's not like we're like, oh, don't do that again. No, I mean, we show them what to do and we're sharp on it. But we're also uplifting. We're also showing them what to do. We're also encouraging them. We're also making sure they know they're getting better. And so to me, I think that if you come and you hate seeing the people you're going to be around, you're not going to get any better. But if you enjoy seeing the people you're going to be around and you know that they have your best interest at heart, and sometimes that's yelling at them, sometimes that's putting your arm around them, sometimes that's doing things over and over and over. But I think if they know we have their interest at heart and they trust us, then I think we'll keep growing. And I do think they trust us, and I trust them.
Like when you play a true freshman at the quarterback position, I would think in most cases the coaching staff sees something special in that kid. When you look at Cepho, is that the case here? And if so, what is it you see in him that makes you think this is the kid?
Well, I think he's very athletic. I think he's very cerebral. I think he's very calm. He's been calm in practice, and he was very calm in the game the other night. Now, he competed, but he was calm. He's also a guy, to me, that puts others first, not himself. And I've noticed that so much, and I think that's part of his maturity. And I think he has a good arm. I think he's very accurate. Also, the thing that I noticed the other night, I think he's extremely tough. Now, he might not be like a run over him all the time, which he did, in fact, run over some guys, but he doesn't see the rush. He doesn't feel the hits. He's kind of gets in his own zone, which a good quarterback does. You know, you see a lot of quarterbacks go, golly, he just got whacked twice and just sat in there. And then you see the other quarterbacks that don't sit in there and or can't move out of the way, so to speak. So I think he has those qualities, and hopefully he'll keep doing that because he's going to get hit hard. He's going to have some bad things happen to him. He's going to have some really good things happen to him. So he's got to handle all that mood swing. And then he's got to understand when guys come off the edge and smack him, that they might be coming again, but he's got to still be able to play.